I want to give an introduction to this book because this is where we are travelling for a good part of this year. Swedenborg's True Christianity or True Christian Religion. And it's often published as 2 volumes, although I believe my original one I was originally given as a teenager was just 1 volume, which you can imagine is fairly thick. It was Swedenborg's last major work, published in 1770, just 2 years before his death. And it's a systematic theology, unlike anything he'd previously written, and it includes within it the refutation of particular falsities that he saw were prevalent in the church and society in his day, and you'll get a sense of that as we go through today. It begins with a very short introduction, which is the faith of the new church. Now that statement we're used to, that we call the faith of the new church, is very much a compressed summary form at the end of that short introduction. And you see there's a couple of different forms of faith of the new church in that introduction. It's well worth reading. The book itself, the whole book, is 14 chapters plus a supplement at the end. And we're going to spend this year exploring each of those chapters. When you take a chapter, he's quite methodical in the way that he treats it. There's a very definite pattern that he settles into. So you have the chapter as a whole, which is broken into headings, and then each of the headings is broken into individual propositions, and then he treats each of those propositions one by one through each chapter. And then at the end of each proposition, he often has little brief parables or similes to illustrate what he's talking about. Now here's one example. He says, unless a person approaches Almighty God, he can do no more against evil and so falsity than a fish against the ocean, a flea against a whale, or a speck of dust against an avalanche. And the book is populated with those sorts of little similes. So just for those, the book is well worth reading because they really help you grasp what he's trying to say. And at the end of each of the sections, as we go through each chapter, he also includes what he calls memorable relations, which are accounts from the spiritual world which relate to the particular point that he's exploring. Fascinating little insights into Swedenborg's spiritual exploration.